this is about as close as you get to right on bregma. You can see saturally how it is. And then you just kind of, you know, whatever your target was, say you wanted to hit this, whatever ACP is, the anterior commissure.
Yeah.
So basically you just kind of go over 2 over, so you say 2 over, and then this is kind of roughly saying, accounting for the thickness of the skull.
Okay.
I mean, the depth is the real tricky thing. I mean, that's the one you kind of got to play around with. You'll kind of have to get some experience. Do a pilot thing. Like if you have a new set of coordinates, like do one in and inject some dye or something and see where it is, and just see that you're. But as far as AP and lateral, I don't think you have no problem.
Okay. And
anyways, that's kind of. So like right now, we're going to go to minus 2.06. So minus 2.06 right here. And we go over 1.5 right there. And then we're going down 1.7. So we should hit about right where that pencil mark is, right there. So that's kind of where wherever they aim for. And you can buy that just like an Amazon or something.
Yeah, the same guy does the human anatomy stuff.
Yeah.
Franklin Atlas. That's like every medical student should.
Okay, I guess we're pretty much ready to. I can't have too much ethanol on my tools when I put it in their brain.
Yeah. You don't want drunk man.
Okay, so the first one here, we got our gas. Set to like
Three and a half.
3.5, 4, or something like that. 3.5 right there. Then we'll take one of these guys. And really shoot up. Wow. Terrible. You guys were all like severely fighting yesterday. Oh, terrible. That guy's just. Sorry. I might just sack those other two, just not even do them. They look pretty terrible. Okay, so I'll take a minute or a couple minutes. So really the trickiest thing is getting them in those ear bars. So the first thing, you have this thing, this holder, that's for their front teeth. So you got to kind of take the mouse, put this in their mouth, and then this thing goes over their nose. And then basically we have a return charcoal scavenging thing down there.
Okay.
With isoflurane. And as with all anesthetic, but you know, with isoflurane, you can tell a lot about the animal just by watching its breathing. I mean, the breathing tells you a lot. Like when they're in the perfect surgical plan, it should be really shallow and slow. When they get too much, they really start gasping. You'll see their bottom jaw will just be bleeding. Keep moving. But doing this, it sort of makes it as close as you can be as dummy proof in a way. I mean, it's really hard to kill the animal unless you leave it like at 4 for an hour or something. Okay, so we'll switch that. So now we're over here. So I usually kind of just grab them like that with their mouth kind of open. Put that in. Now you'll practice. I mean, then maybe doing that right there seems to be the hardest thing for most people.
Okay.
Like I do it, it's like, oh, it's so easy.
Yeah.
And
So putting the teeth on the
get it right in there.
and then pulling it. Okay.
And then you'll see kind of how I do this. But when I do the ear bars, what I generally like to do is I'll raise this up just a little bit, like almost too high, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll put this back ear bar just in the ear, and well, actually before I can show you like how we turn it down like 2.5 now. How you read these things, and it'll just take some practice. But you read them from like this thing. You read it just basically from the 0.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever, so like right now, say like right there, it's at 15, or you know wherever. These are more tricky. I'll show you when we get there, basically. But basically what I do is I put this side into about 3.5. And I kind of just start there. And then put that in the ear. And then we go in. I go until I feel like some resistance.
Okay.
And then it's just kind of move. You want to keep them to be the same on both sides. So that's still about 3.5. It's about 3.5. So that's good. Now, again, always watch breathing. Just kind of ingrain that in your head when you're doing gases. So you can see like how his jaw's opening right there.
Yeah.
That's usually like too much gas. So I'll kind of turn it down a little. Now we'll kind of lower this down. And once we get the skull, we'll check for levelness, because you want the skull obviously to be level. Otherwise you'll be going at some.
So this, at what will you set this?
This one right here?
Yeah.
It'll depend. There's no set amount. It'll kind of depend from animal to animal.
Okay.
But basically, once you get everything set up, when we do multiple animals, it should be pretty close.
Okay.
I mean, it's not going to be exact, but like one number will be 10.23 and the next one will be 10.58 or something like that. But if one's 10 and one's 6,
then
you know, something's...
Yeah.
Another thing you should do, which I didn't do, but it's good practice, particularly when other people are using this and you're not, is make sure everything's tight.
Okay.
Because again, like Hong does this, she likes moving the stuff around, all that stuff. Like I like leaving it nice and solid.
Yeah.
But since I did it yesterday, no one's used this. Okay, so now we attempt the haircut. Now these are the same clippers we've had for about 6 years.
Okay.
And so they're very terrible. I need to buy some new ones, but. I just kind of try and get it the best I can, right? If I had better clippers, and then I'll get some. I need to do a little beta design, just because it's in our protocol. I never did this before, but. Okay, and then, again, just confirming he's still breathing. And looks like he's in a good. So now we'll just make a midline incision. And I actually have this whole procedure written up.
Okay.
I can give you that. And so we basically just make an incision kind of across the whole top. And then, again, all these differences, but on a rat, the sutures on the skull are immediately, I mean, they stand out nice. On a mouse, it's a little more, you have to let it kind of dry, and then it kind of stands out. And then once you do it more and more, you'll gain experience. Like I can already tell right now where Brigma is, but you may not, just because it's right there. You'll see this. You kind of see this white thing. This white thing will kind of wrap around.
Okay.
But just for the sake of being able to see, we'll let it kind of dry. So I kind of take one of these and kind of.
Okay, that point, the red point.
Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Okay.
And
so
what I usually do first is I'll bring the needle or the cannula all the way over to the midline. And then the first thing we want to do is make sure the skull's level. And there's kind of there's probably many ways, but there's at least 2 ways you can do that. One way is that people will take like an anterior measurement and a posterior measurement, make sure they're the same. What I generally do is I'll start, well, you'll see. I'll start at one end and I'll just move back and forth and use my eye. So, move that down. Okay, so like that looks pretty good to me. If you wanted to, what you could do is, take the needle down.
Yeah.
Right where you touch it.
Yeah.
And the other. That's 10.04. And then if you go all the way here. There you go. That's at 10.25.
And where are you reading that?
Well, I'll show you. It'll be easier
Okay.
to see on these other ones.
Okay.
It's the exact same.
Okay.
I can kind of show you from here. Again, you're taking the point where the 0 is. And so this is in tens. So you look at the 0, whichever one is closest to. So in this case, it's like, that's 40. So it's 42.56.
Okay.
So, and I'll let you read them to me when we get there so you can kind of practice. But because of that, just a hair. It's 10.06. That's pretty damn close. So basically now we've established that the skull's level. So now what we'll do is we'll move this right over bregma. So So we don't worry about depth right now. We're just doing AP and lateral.
Okay.
So it looks like it's pretty good to me.
Okay.
So what we do, I guess I should have brought a notebook, but this is where I trust a notebook. What I usually do is take actually we'll just use this one, so we already have coordinates on it. So say number 1, so we'll first read. So in this case, right here, so we're at 40.32.
Okay.
You see that? Like the 0.
0 exactly corresponds with 4.
And
Okay.
32.
Okay.
So we're at 40.32. And then lateral, we're at 18.28. And so to get our numbers, we just subtract 2.06 from that. So that's 38.26. And then subtract 1.5 from that, so that's 16.78. So now I basically just got to dial in these coordinates. We got a 38.26 and 16.78. 16.78. Okay?
Okay.
Got that?
So that's where the
This would be like if we were going for hippocampus.
Okay.
In this case, we're injecting the hippocampus. But if you want, we can pick out a different structure. And then what I do is I take my trusty pencil. And we're going to mark it. So I just kind of what I usually do is do like a half circle around the. There it is. And then I'll kind of raise it up a little. And then I'll fill in the circle. And then I just verify again. I'll put it right back down to make sure that my needle is going to be like right in the center of the circle. Okay. And now, that's the one thing I wish that Schultz would spend or whatever. It's a lot more money, but they make these motorized. So you just woo and just move out of the way. That's the only thing I hate about this. Because now we need to get it out of the way so we can drill. Okay. Now make sure when you drill, the skin's kind of out of the way.
Okay.
Because what can happen, obviously, if it drills spin and it catches the skin, it'll torque and you'll get a nasty mess.
And whatever you're using, the drill bit is the one which comes with the Dremel? Or
No, I bought this in a hardware store.
Okay. You have like a thing for it, like a number for it or something like that?
I'd have to look.
Okay.
We bought this at Kansas. I just went to the hardware store and just looked at what they had. I mean, just want something. You know, you can buy it just in a regular hardware store, and they come in all sizes.
Okay.
I mean, you can get. It's nothing particular about this size. You just don't want it, obviously.
Yeah,
too
the big one. Yeah.
I mean, the littler one will just take more drilling.
Okay.
But I mean, just get something that your cannula will be like quite a bit bigger than your cannula, but not too big. So I always just kind of.
Is it a variable speed one or?
Yeah. But you don't really need a variable speed. I mean, I usually kind of max it out. And so I kind of make like a, I don't know, that's kind of how you don't want to like put a lot of pressure down on it. If I can get it about there so it's not totally through.
Okay.
And then take the pointed part, try to kind of pick it up. I probably could have drilled a little more. It's actually really good. Okay, and then depending on how good my thing was, usually my hole's a lot bigger than that.
Okay.
So if this works, this is like a very precision.
So instead of the drill thing, was it not possible because the atlas says it is from the top of the skull, right?
Well, the atlas doesn't really specify. That's kind of we're taking that as to be kind of the dura and all that.
Okay.
I don't know if that's from the top of the skull or not.
Okay.
The thing doesn't really say.
But the needle
that's a good point.
Yeah, but the needle does not automatically
Go through the skull?
Go through the skull.
No.
No?
No. Because the one thing about these cannulas, like we sand, they're dull.
Okay.
They're not like sharp or
Okay.
anything. So we basically just move right back to the 16.78. And if I really hit it good, I don't. Let's see. Okay, 16.78. Oh, and then I guess it wasn't 16.78. It was 8. It was 6 and 8. Okay, 10 off. Okay, so there's 6, 7, 8. Then put it down. Oh, look at that. See, we're just a smidgen off. So you can either try, I wish I was left-handed.